Well, the Buffalo Bills started the 2023 season last night on Monday Night Football and lost an overtime game to the New York Jets. And yes, I think the Bills lost it. The Jets didn't win it. Although the Jets defense played really, really well, I'm not going to take anything away from them. But the Bills had 4 turnovers. And if you knock out the Hall of Fame quarterback that's was playing for the Jets in the first drive, and you take a 10-point lead into halftime, you need to come away with that victory. But instead, they found ways to help the Jets get the win with 4 turnovers. And as I break down those 4 turnovers, the first turnover, actually not upset about at all because it was 3rd and long. Josh threw it deep. It was intercepted, but they downed it at the 4-yard line, so it may have been better than any punt we would have got on the next play, so that was fine. But then he threw it long again into double coverage. Diggs did as much as he could to try to knock it down, but just a poor decision. And I think he had a check down. I think it would have been checked down to Cook and should have been a first down. And then the other interception, he threw a bad pass and where Davis was not open and got intercepted. But the one that really, really hurt was the fumble snap out of shotgun. And then he picked it up and he ran forward and he got clocked and fumbled the ball. And that left the Jets in scoring position to get their touchdown. That really, really, that was the play of the game, in my opinion. That play was the play of the game, and it resulted in a Josh Allen fumble. So, you know, we've got to work on that, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But I wanted to talk about 2 players. The 2 players I was watching during the game and told everyone to watch for was Terrell Bernard playing middle linebacker and Spencer Brown playing right tackle. Bernard, I thought he actually played pretty well. He was good in pass coverage, although he did get picked and ran right into a bunch of players and gave up a long pass to Lazard because of that. And then in the running game, I thought he played pretty well there, but he has a hard time shedding blocks, which we knew he was going to. But I think the problem with Terrell Bernard is that he wears the green dot at the middle linebacker position, and I don't think he's quite ready to do that yet. In my opinion, on a couple of the long runs by Hall, I know at least one of them, he should have called a shift on the defensive line before the play started. He did not, and the gap responsibility had too many gaps on the one side, and it just didn't work because there was too many people aligned to one side and left the gap open where I think it left Tre'Davious White having to fill 2 gaps, which that's not going to work. So, yeah, that's the big worry with him. Christian Kirksey hopefully will be ready soon. If not, then hopefully as the season goes along, Bernard's going to learn more about how to do that, wearing that green dot and being the middle linebacker. So, and then over to offense with Spencer Brown, he didn't look good. Didn't look good in the first half. Josh was running for his life, getting sacked, getting bowled into. And then the big thing in overtime, he put us behind the chains right off the bat with a false start. Those pre-snap penalties, we talked over and over again in the preseason. We can't have those. We definitely can't have it in an overtime situation. First play, now it's 1st and 15. We're behind the chains, and we got to figure out how to get 15 yards instead of 10. That really hurt us on that drive and made it much harder to get the first down. And then they punted, and the punt return went for a touchdown. On that punt return, real quick, the guy said it had an asterisk because of the leg trip or the whip, but I think the Jets still would have won because it would have just been a penalty marked off from that spot, and they were almost in field goal, if not in field goal position already from there, which they only needed a field goal to win the game. So I don't think that asterisk is really needed there. But the turnovers are the big problem. And they were all Josh Allen. And, you know, they call him Sugar High Josh when things like this happen. But this was probably the worst game I think I've seen the Buffalo Bills play on offense in a long time. And again, a lot of that contributed to the great Jets defense. The Jets have a very good defense. Not taking anything away from the Jets defense, but the Bills offense needed to play better than it did. A lot of receptions to Diggs, but Diggs was the only receiver really to have a catch. I think Davis had one catch. Where was Shakir? Where was Sherfield? I wanted Sherfield involved big time in this game, and he wasn't. The tight ends did get involved with Kincaid and Knox having a couple of receptions each, but need to get Sherfield and Davis and those other receivers involved too. It can't just be Diggs, because that makes us pretty easy to defend. I thought Cooks had an okay game. I'd like to see better rushing ability out of him. I thought the rest of the offensive line played all right too, but just Spencer Brown sticks out as a sore thumb to me. So after the game, Josh did look very devastated, and rightfully so, because as he said, he cost the team the game, and I believe he did too. Again, the Bills should have won this game. At halftime, Peyton Manning even said it doesn't look good for the Jets this second half, and it shouldn't have. The Bills should have won, and this is one that got away from them. But it is only one loss, and you have to remember that. And what came to my mind when Josh was talking in the postgame, I remembered Tim Tebow from college football when he got on there and he had a game where his team was better. I think they were playing Mississippi State and they lost by a point, and he took the blame because there were a few turnovers during the game, and he took the blame for the loss. Now, Josh took the blame for the loss too, but the difference is Tim Tebow then went on to say, and I don't want to misquote this because I thought it was one of the best speeches in college football. "You will never see any player in the entire country play as hard as I will. I will play the rest of the season, and you will never see someone push the rest of the team as hard as I will push everybody the rest of the season. And you will never see a team play harder than we will the rest of the season. God bless." I did flub that up at the beginning a little bit, but the point is, Josh was making points that he can't believe this keeps happening. Josh said that. It keeps happening. Keeps making these turnovers and costing the Bills games. Well, you know what? What I need is the attitude from a leader like Tim Tebow was there, that we will never see a player work harder. We will never see a player push a team harder. And this team can either make this the reason that the whole season goes bad and just go, you know what, every time there's a close game, something's going to happen. That's a hard thing to get over for Buffalo Bills fans, because that seems to be the way it's always happened for Bills. I mean, there's commercials about the fact that Bills games look won at the end and then they're lost at the last second. But you can't look at it that way. As this man right here, Von Miller, said, you got to burn that. You got to burn those ships. We got to move on. And not anything in the past is there. It's in the past. Burn those ships. Move on as we playing this season right now. And this one loss, you can either play it and say, next game against the Raiders or any game down the rest of the schedule. If it's a close game, are you going to be back there going, the Bills are going to find a way to lose? Because if you think that way, that's what's going to happen. And I'm talking about players and coaches. Or can you promise yourself that we'll find a way to win? That no one will work harder. That no one will push his teammates harder. That's the Josh Allen I want to see step up. Put the little Tim Tebow in him. And that's not the only player I want to step up. Every single player on this roster, they say it's 11-man football, but really it's 48 on a game day. And more. You have to have coaches on the same page too. None of this we're going to find a way to lose. Instead, find a way to win. And I think we can. We've got the talent on the team. Let's use this as motivation for the rest of the season. From now on, I want to see a team that fights hard every single down, that pushes each other hard every single play and finds a way to win. Go Bills. And remember, God loves you.